What's up everyone and welcome to Sketch Saturday. In today's video I'll be showing you how to create a sketch illustration of Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. Now for today's lesson I'll be starting off with this 0.7mm mechanical pencil with a 2B graphite stick. I also have a 0.9mm pencil to add some contrast, but if you prefer you can switch over to your Sharpie marker to finish off your drawing. Now the first thing we're going to do is define the composition and proportions of our drawing before we get into the details. So let's start by sketching a line coming down the center of our page, starting from the very top. Just going to lightly work our way down towards the bottom using these short lines. Now we're going to separate the head from the body with a straight line going across the middle. We'll start on the left side and then extend that out towards the right. Let's add a large rectangle along the top half of our page. So we move out towards the side, draw a straight line going up. Now we're going to measure this distance from that center line over towards the right and do the same thing, going up towards the same height. Now up here, it's going to block off the top of our rectangle with a straight line. Now let's define the shape of the body. From the bottom corners of the head, we're going to move in about halfway on the left and then halfway on the right. And then from here, it's going to angle the body, coming down and then out towards the bottom. And then right down here, we're going to draw another straight line going across the bottom of the floor. Now that we define the size of the head compared to the body, we're going to start refining the shapes and start adding some more details. So let's start by refining the shape of the head. From the top point, just going to round out the head, going out and then down toward the left and right side. Now I'm just going to bring that down towards the same height. Let's round out that corner, just taking out that sharp point. Let's go all the way down, round out the jaw. I just want to dip this down in the middle and then up towards the right. So bringing down the chin. Now in between the eyes, we're going to leave a large gap. So from that center line, let's move over towards the left side to right about here. Draw a straight line coming down. Now we want to measure this distance over towards the right and do the same thing. Let's place the eyes along the bottom of the head. So from the jaw, draw a straight line going all the way across. Now with the arms, we're going to pull this in towards the center of the body. So let's start from the top of the body, step down, curve the arm coming down and in towards that middle. Do the same thing on the right. And then go back up to the top, draw the outside of the arm, going out and then in towards that outside line. Let's connect the ends with a curve to the bottom of the feet. Now from the outside, we're going to go up and then down, going across the top of the feet. Now on the outside, we're going to layer the hind legs. We're going to go out and then bend that in towards the bottom corner of the feet. Now let's move out, draw the top of the foot, going up and then in towards the side. Now over on the right side, we're going to add the tail. From the ankle, we're going to go out and then up, and then taper that back in towards the side. Now I'm going to go back up to the top and add in the horns. We're going to extend this line going all the way up towards the top on both sides. Now right here, we're going to go up towards the top. We're going to define the length of that horn, curve this around, and then in on top of the head. And we just want to line that up on the right side, going all the way around and then in. Let's move in, add two bumps, one on the left with a half oval, go to the right and do the same thing. Now there's two smaller horns along the side. Let's start from the corner of the head. We're going to go up, come around, and then in, like a half oval, and do the same thing on the right. Let's leave a gap and draw one more. We're going to go a little bit smaller, going out towards the side. Now I want to move back to the head and draw in the eyes. So from this bottom line, we're going to draw a circle coming in toward the inside line, going all the way around. Let's draw that same size circle over on the right. So just going to line this up along the top, with a small guideline, going all the way around. Now we want to add a point along the inside of the eye. From the top, bend this in and then down, round up the bottom of the eye. Now we're going to move to the center and draw an oval for the nose, going around and then back up towards the top. Let's go back to the eyes and pull the pupils towards the inside. Now the shape of the pupils are actually square with rounded edges. So starting from the very top, curve this around and then in towards the bottom, round at the bottom and pull that in. Now with our rough sketch in place, I'm going to go in and erase all our guidelines using this gum eraser. Now once we finish cleaning up our drawing, use this rough sketch as a guide to help us layer on some more details and refine the shapes. Now if you're enjoying today's lesson and want to access more sketch tutorials like this, I encourage you to join our Dollar Art Club. For just $1 a month, you get access to all our upcoming art camps, courses, and exclusive workshops that we post every Friday. It's a safe space that I created for you to grow your drawing skills and have fun along the way. I'd love for you to give it a try, and quite honestly, it might be the best dollar you've ever spent. I'll leave the link down in the description. Now let's get back into today's lesson. We're going to start with some detail across the top of the head, so we want to add some more shape. Starting from this horn, just going to lightly sketch out, just adding a curve in between. Now right here, we're just going to add a little bump in the middle. And you can see that I'm just layering on some more details on top of that rough sketch. And want to add some more shape to that horn. Just pulling this up towards a point in the inside and then rounding out the outside. And then right here, we want to add some wrinkles and folds. So this is bending, this horn is bending on the inside, so we're going to create some wrinkles along the bottom edge. Going up. Let's curve this, just rounding this out. Round out the top. Now I want to do the same thing on the right, adding some wrinkles across the base of that horn. Bending this around, rounding out the top, and then going along the outside. Just curving that back in. Let's also add some wrinkles across the bottom along the outside. Just folding this over. And I'm going to add a few bumps along the outside of the horn. Just along the edge. And adding some smaller ones going up. Let's work our way around the outside. We want to also round up the side of the head. So just going to lightly work our way around towards the jaw. Pull this in towards the chin and then round that out. Let's add some more wrinkles across the top, coming in towards the side of the head. Now I want to go in and add some more shape to the eyes. We're going to start from the inside, bend this up and out. Now along the top of the eye, I'm just going to add a little fold going across the top and then out. Pulling this down and in towards the nose. Now let's tuck the top of the eye underneath. Go all the way around. Now along the top of each eye, along the pupil, I'm just going to add a highlight. So I'm just going to make this a little bit more like a rectangle, just to mimic the shape of the pupil. And then along the bottom corner, just add a small square. I'm going to just lightly shade the inside of the pupil going around those highlights. It's just a rough shading treatment. Let's go and add some detail to the nose. We're going to start with the nostrils. Just working inside that oval that we created. And just darken up the inside of the nostrils. Add a fold across the bottom. I'm also going to add a fold across the top, going up. Now with the mouth, just around the chin on the top, we're going to curve this up and down. Bend the mouth going up towards the sides. Now we want to widen out the neck. Just going to add a fold coming in towards the center of the body. And then taper that out. Also add a little fold along the inside. Now with the arms, we want to split this in half. So we come around the side. Now with the forearm, we're going to bend this up and then out to create a fold across the elbows. Let's go back to the shoulder, round out the shoulder. So we're going to separate this out from the rest of the arm. Coming down. Add some more shape to the upper leg. Now with the front feet, we're going to separate out the toes. So starting from the bottom on the inside, we're going to go up and then down. Let's add that second toe, going up and down, and one small one on the outside. Let's add some toes on the outside, starting from the inside this time. Round this out, and just layer the toes in behind, going out. So I'm just going to add 3 along the back. Now with the tail, just going to trace this out, going up towards the top. Now I want to add that fan of fins, and go up and then out on the side. Then connect the top of each point with a curve, and bring that back in. Almost like creating a web. And we'll go back and do one final cleanup before we add in our contrast and details. Now at this stage, you can decide if you want to stick with your pencil or switch to a permanent marker, but we're going to stay with our pencil and try to build similar contrast with thick and thin lines. So I'm going to start all the way back at the top. We start with that fold going across. Now with this single line, we want to make sure that the line is thicker across the middle and tapers out towards a point on either end. Just going to work our way around those points, those horns in the middle. And at any stage, you can always modify the shape and details if you like. Now the steps are similar when you're using a permanent marker. It's just a little bit faster. But I find that with pencil, you get a little bit more control of the details. That's your preference, whichever one you want to use. I'm just going to work our way across the horns, again going thicker in the middle. And we can also taper that out towards a point where we think that the highlights would be. So you want to imagine that the lights come from the top of our character, coming down. So the highlights will sit along the top with the shadow sides along the bottom edge, along the opposite side. I'm just going to incorporate those bumps along the outside. So just blending them in to that curve. Now with the eyes, you want to make sure that we go thicker with the eyelid along the top. And add a thick line going underneath. So we're adding some thickness around the outer edge of the eyelid. Now, if you're finishing your drawing with a Sharpie, you can just fill the inside of the pupils going around those highlights. But since we're using a pencil, I'm going to start off dark across the top. And I want to create a gradient coming down towards the bottom of the eye. And this will create a little bit of a reflective effect. Now with these toes, we want to layer a claw on top. So we'll start from the bottom, going up, and then down towards a point, and then bend that back in towards the bottom of the toe. And then we'll do that to each toe along the tip. We're going to go back and add those little bumps in the center of the forehead, going a little bit smaller as we come down the middle. Now if you use the Sharpie to outline your drawing, you can go in and start taking out all those sketch lines underneath. Now I'm going to go in and start adding those little spots across those horns, just lightly working our way around. You want to vary the size of these spots. And move to the side edge of my pencil and add a little bit of light shadow just around the eyes and nose. And the head's also going to cast a shadow across the neck. So we're going to darken up the top and then fade that down. Now as we get closer to the end, I'm just going to tighten up my shadows and detail, and always be sure to sign my artwork. And that's pretty much it. There's a sketch illustration of Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. And you can see that by starting out with the basic shapes first, before we get into the details, you get much better results. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you did, please be sure to subscribe for more videos each day where I'll show you how to draw different characters just like this. And if you're part of the Dollar Art Club, we have another lesson coming up for you tomorrow. I want to thank you for watching, stay creative, and I'll see you in the next one.